Hi everyone. I'm just asking you to join me for this short teaching on the role of suffering. Sometimes when I'm asked that question, it's not so easy to answer because lots of us would say, why do we have to suffer? And when we use the word suffer, that can be why do things go wrong as well? Why was I made homeless? Why did I lose my job? All of that is suffering. And suffering as well is health. Sometimes I always remember meeting someone and they were saying that they were suffering a lot because they were overweight. And I felt very sad for them. But then again, you had to look at why were they overweight? What caused it in that sense? What suffering, what pain, emotional pain they were going through. So suffering is a huge, huge area because each and every one of us suffer in our lives, and we suffer at many different times. And sometimes people ask, well, what's the point in suffering? And some people turned around to me and said, they read angels in my hair, and they turned around and said, Lorna, you had a really hard life. You suffered a lot. But I never looked on my life like that, as suffering or as hard. I know I gave out to God all the time, especially when I wanted food or the electricity was turned off, there were so many things. And I think maybe if we could look on our lives in the sense that we're not suffering in the way that we think. I know I always remember being in a hospital over 20 years ago, and this little child was in bed and she was suffering. But she was suffering pain, and the doctors were helping to take away the pain for her. And I always remember praying that that pain would leave her and that she could get up again and run around when her body had healed itself with the help of the doctors. And I guess maybe that child, as she grows or even becomes an adult, she remembers that suffering. Suffering gives us strength as well. It gives us courage. It gives us hope. Because most of us, not all of us, will fight because of that suffering. We'll fight to live. We will fight to, how would I say, not to be homeless anymore. We will fight to walk. You often see young people with disabilities, and do you turn around and say they're suffering every day? And you could say that, because they're struggling with the things that maybe are normal for you. But their disability is, in a sense, who they are. And so many of them are so strong and so powerful. And I always have to smile. I often say the people looking in at them, do they not get courage and hope from seeing them, what would I say, achieving, to walk up the street, or achieving to go to the shops, or achieving in the Olympics? Isn't that incredible? That should be giving all of us hope, and in a sense to help us not to be thinking of just our own suffering. And your suffering makes you who you are as well. Again, what does a person mean by suffering? Does it mean that some people will say, well, why did I have to suffer? Why did that car, why did I get knocked down? Why did I crash? And you would have to ask yourself humanly, why did you crash? Why did you get knocked down? And there's always, what would you say, you will always find something. But a lot of the time we forget to thank God that we got back, that we survived, that we lived. I would just say suffering, in a sense, makes you strong. I don't like the word. You know, and I always say to people, if you have a loved one in your family that is suffering more than the average, we should pray for them. That whatever suffering that is, that it will become less or it'll disappear. But I always say, you know, you pray and you ask for what's the best for that person. Like I always, you know, again, at time being in hospital and seeing a young man that had been in a car crash. And, you know, he was injured so badly. He lost a leg, part of his leg. And I remember one time walking down Dublin Street in the city centre and seeing this young man, and he walking with crutches. Yes, he has suffered a lot, but look at what he has conquered. Look at the symbol he is showing others. Just because I lost part of my leg doesn't mean I cannot walk. Like nowadays, even children that have lost legs can run in a race. Like, even the trees suffer. You know, if we have a bad winter, they make sure they go asleep more so that they can grow strong in the summertime and give us, you know, clean air in that way. So why do we suffer? I'm afraid our human bodies are weak. They're not strong. You know, if you don't watch where you're walking, you can sprain your ankle. And you could turn around and say, well, why did God allow that to happen? Why did I have to sprain my ankle? And that's a big question. Why were you not looking where you were walking? Or why were you not paying attention? God has made this beautiful planet. And yes, we share it with lots of other life. And lots of other life, I'm afraid, have their homes. You know, it might be a little hole dug. It might be a bit of a branch on the ground. It might be, in a sense, a step is uneven. Why do we suffer? The big, big question. And to me, we suffer. It's our human body that suffers. Our mind suffers because of the world today. I'm sad to say we suffer more than maybe we did before. Suffering goes to wars, to famines, to floods, to anxiety, to fear. There is so many ways we all suffer. But it's part of being human. And I think that's the part we have to accept. We have a soul, that spark of light of God. That part of us doesn't suffer. But our human part of us suffer all the time. We have to watch what we eat. We have to make sure we drink water. If we drink too much alcohol or take drugs, we're making ourselves suffer. So we can't keep blaming God on it all of the time. It's just such a big topic. Why do we have to suffer? What's the meaning of it? But one meaning I do believe, and that is I wouldn't be who I am today only for what I have gone through in the past. And I know I've had God and the angels all of the time with me. But that didn't stop me suffering either. And I have to smile at that because all those ups and downs I went through, they made me who I am. And remember, people believed I was retarded because I'm dyslexic. So you can imagine, in a sense, what that was like, growing up as a child and a teenager, and even as a mother. But I am who I am, and I cannot be anyone else. So I hope that has helped you in some way. It's a hard question. I'd have to have someone in front of me and they asking, why are they suffering in that sense? So I hope that has helped you. So I'm just going to say, love you and bless you. Bye-bye. Love you.